We have to understand that it is a region with a lot of culture and a lot of educational background. And if this has a chance to develop in a peaceful way, I think it's a much better life for all of them and for us. This is one of the regions where, because of the Kashmir point, we have to find a solution, and we would like to support such a peaceful solutions.
We greatly appreciate the work done by the Kashmir Centre to build measures of confidence building kind, particularly with non-governmental actors from not just India and Pakistan, but of course above all from the Kashmiri people themselves.
And the Friends of Kashmir group facilitate dialogue, conferences, debate in relation to the Kashmir issue, organised through our good friends, the Kashmir Centre.
Kashmir is an extraordinary, picturesque part of the world, bordered by India, Pakistan, China, and Afghanistan. Famous for its natural beauty, Kashmir has often been referred to as the Switzerland of the East. The climate is mild and the soil is fertile, well watered by mountain streams. Jammu and Kashmir is home to some 13 million people. Kashmir Centre EU is an NGO which, among other causes, provides assistance to the people of Jammu and Kashmir for achieving their legitimate rights and for the promotion and protection of their human rights. World-renowned mountaineer Reinhold Messner and Elizabeth Lynn, both members of the European Parliament, officially inaugurated the Kashmir Centre EU on the 8th of October 2003 in Brussels. The executive director of the Kashmir Centre EU, Barrister Majid Trambou, described the occasion as historic.
It is historical.
Kashmir in the European Parliament was reconstituted following elections to the European Parliament in 2004, under the chairmanship of James Ells, MEP, with Gary Titley, MEP, Chris Davies, MEP, as its vice chairman, and Philip Bush Matthews, MEP, as treasurer. The aims of the all-party group for Kashmir are simple. 1. Raising the profile of Kashmir, its people, and the protracted dispute in the region, in the European institutions and the wider European public. 2. Promoting a peaceful resolution of the Kashmir dispute, with the explicit involvement of all parties to the conflict, namely India, Pakistan, and the Kashmiri people. The All-Party Group for Kashmir and the Kashmir Centre EU have jointly, through their concerted efforts, carried out a number of programs and activities in the European Parliament and initiated and facilitated a number of actions of the European Parliament in relation to Kashmir. Pursuant to their objective, that is to create public awareness within the European Union and its member states, the All-Party Group for Kashmir and the Kashmir Centre EU sponsored the Discourse on Kashmir in April 2004 that was held in the European Parliament. The aim of this discourse was to foster a vision for Jammu and Kashmir that incorporates the aspirations of all the Kashmiris and to ensure dignity for all parties concerned.
Occasion today, and I'd very much like to extend on behalf of the European Parliament a very warm welcome to our visitors.
So let us hope the end of this conference, and I thank James and his staff and the Kashmir Centre and all the people from the European Parliament for facilitating this, because without a facilitator for an event like this, it would never happen.
This discourse adopted the famous Brussels resolution, which emphasized demilitarization, self-determination, and human rights for Kashmiri. The Discourse 2004 was followed by a global discourse on Kashmir 2005, which brought together a wide-ranging groups of politicians, academics, and journalists from Pakistan, India, and both sides of Kashmir, as well as members of the European Parliament. This discourse was designed to further strengthen the significant steps undertaken by the governments of Pakistan and India towards peaceful settlement with respect to Jammu and Kashmir.
You can well imagine when there are hundreds and thousands of troops on the ground, what kind of a situation, what kind of a atmosphere is there.
The solution has to be reached among India, Pakistan, and the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
And it would help if the European Union, with friends like yourselves, with Mr. Elmar Brok you mentioned, resolution of Kashmir and Palestine.
The discourse adopted unanimously the Global Discourse Resolution. The Global Discourse 2006 was a unique event, The President of Pakistan, General Pervez Musharraf, was the guest of honor at the discourse. Welcoming the President, Barrister Majid Kambu emphasized to the President,
Mr. President, I'm delighted that you accepted our invitation to this third global discourse on Kashmir. It's a great honor for us and for the people of Kashmir that you are with us here today. This demonstrates your love and affection towards the Kashmiri people and your resolve to help us achieve our right to live with peace and dignity. I feel privileged both as a Kashmiri as well as the Executive Director of Kashmir Centre EU by your presence here, sir, and it will certainly add a strong voice and visibility to the Kashmir cause here in the European Union.
The peace process initiated by Pakistan and India over the last 2 years, however, has a different background. In a transformed regional and international environment, the process is being sustained at different tracks in search for an acceptable settlement. And when I say acceptable, it ought to be acceptable, first of all, to the people of Kashmir, and then to Pakistan and India to make it settled.
Concluding the opening plenary, the chairman of the All-Party Group for Kashmir, Mr. Ellis, said,
He said you could resist the invasion of armies, but you cannot resist the invasion of ideas. And therefore, through the force of ideas, let us find peace and prosperity together. Thank you very much.
The discourse held 3 workshops, which formed part of the closing plenary. At the closing plenary, the chief guest was the Prime Minister of Azad Jammu and Kashmir. The Global Discourse on Kashmir 2006 adopted what is known as the Global Discourse on Kashmir 2006 Conclusions. Following intense lobbying of the All-Party Group for Kashmir and the Kashmir Centre EU in the European Parliament, the Foreign Affairs Committee constituted an ad hoc delegation on Kashmir under the chairmanship of John Walls Cushnahan in October 2003. The delegation visited Pakistan and Azad Jammu and Kashmir in December 2003 and India in Indian-held Kashmir in June 2004. The delegation presented its report and recommendations in July 2004 in the European Parliament. This report is commonly known as Beautiful Prison of the World. The European Parliament's Annual Report on Human Rights in the World 2005 and 2006 contains specific references to the gross human rights violations in Indian-held Kashmir. This was ensured by the All-Party Group for Kashmir and the supporters of the Kashmir cause in the European Parliament. And following the catastrophic 8th of October 2005 earthquake, the All-Party Group for Kashmir negotiated and ensured adoption of the European Parliament's access to humanitarian aid in Kashmir resolution. The EU sanctioned €90 million for the relief of the earthquake survivors. The All-Party Group for Kashmir and the Kashmir Centre EU have regular formal and informal meetings with European Union officials, visiting dignitaries from all sides and parliamentarians on a regular basis. The Kashmir Centre EU has launched a successful media campaign to impressively highlight the Kashmir cause. Billboards have been raised at metro and railway stations and at the Brussels National Airport. Likewise, print and electronic media campaigns were initiated. This unparalleled media campaign generated huge interest in the Kashmir issue, as a result of which article after article have been written on Kashmir. The Kashmir Centre EU further publishes the Kashmir Report to help the EU and its decision-makers to provide regular update on the Kashmir situation. Our website is visited, on average, about 100,000 persons per month. Above all, as part of its mission, the Kashmir Centre EU holds at the relevant occasions peaceful demonstration outside the Indian Embassy in Brussels. The diplomatic and peaceful activities of the Kashmir Centre EU will remain in force until the conflict of Jammu and Kashmir is resolved pursuant to the wishes and concerns of the people of Jammu and Kashmir.